How would you feel if this is what you're being told? 1 in 3 businesses say they plan to raise prices as Trump's tariffs begin and inflation grows. This is a huge concern. Millions of people, not just here in the United States, but around the globe as well, are extremely concerned for their well-being, but also for the well-being of their business, their community, and the overall economy. But look at this. This article from Axios says companies can't hold the line on prices much longer. I went to Costco earlier. I can tell you, we are already seeing prices increase. This is from Costco, a massive company, okay? A massive company that can easily hold on to a little bit of a loss over the months. But you look at your average retailer, even Target is struggling. Their CEO is going to step down after 11 years. And it's because tariffs are going to play a massive role and going to have a negative impact on the immediate economy. But I want to read a few things to you. First off, I want to read this article right here. It says, almost a third of U.S. businesses have said in a survey that they're likely to raise prices by the end of 2025 as they adjust to increasing costs and inflation, according to this report. It goes on to say, the online lending marketplace LendingTree issued a report stating that more than 30% of businesses included in the company's survey expect their prices to rise within the next 6 months. Roughly 5% said their prices would go down, and 65% estimated that they would remain the same. Here's the thing. Companies that say their prices are going to stay the same despite the tariffs are likely only saying this to hopefully get more customers into the door. This is what Walmart said. Walmart said, no, we are not raising prices. We are going to keep the prices the same. We are going to work with the suppliers and the manufacturers, and Walmart itself will take some of the hit. We were going to split it in thirds, is what they said. We're going to make sure that the supplier, they're going to eat a third of the tariff. We're going to make sure that Walmart itself eats a third of the tariff, and we would only increase prices by a third if necessary. Well, here's the problem. This is something that is happening. It's happening now, and every single company is doing it. They're hiding the increases. You look at Walmart, you walk down the aisle, and you can see where they're putting the sales. The sales, in some cases, the price is not different. It's just considered a sale. You know why? Because they were thinking about raising the price, and they decided, yep, we will raise the price in just a moment, but in the meantime, we're going to put it on sale at the exact same price. Interesting. I want to read you this, though. I want to read you a little bit of this article because, again, this one is key. If companies cannot hold the line on prices much longer, that means they're going to increase. It says right here why it matters. Americans are already under strain from rapidly rising prices during the Biden administration. Another bout of hot inflation at a time when the labor market is slowing down will hurt. It says companies fearful that high prices could spook their customers held the line in the meantime. They stockpiled goods before tariffs kicked in. Here's the problem. Stockpiling inventory is good, but you have to spend the money on that inventory. And so here's the issue. We're coming up on Q4. That is when the majority of people go and buy things for Christmas and the holiday season. As a result, companies need to buy more inventory. Well, this is the time they do it. They do it in August. They do it in September. Most of them have all the inventory by October because come November, it's hitting the shelves. It's already in the warehouses. Now it's going to the shelves. The concern, though, is we are going to see many companies go under. People are going to experience layoffs. Economies, local economies, are going to shift. It says right here, reality is biting. At the beginning of the month, the U.S. started levying tariffs of about 15% on dozens of countries. That was on top of China tariffs of 30%. It says companies are coming to the point where their margins are getting squeezed and they need to start passing that on to consumers. That's what we've been concerned with, is that the companies can hold the line for a little bit. They can operate with very slim margins. But what happens when their margins are now causing a loss? They either have to get a better price from the supplier, which in most cases they've already done that. They have to try to bring down their operating costs, which usually results in layoffs and things like that. Many companies have already done that. Here's the next thing. The price increases are coming to you. That's what we're going to see. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but we know this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. It says right here, Home Depot had been able to maintain prices on imported products because they'd stockpiled before tariffs took effect. But now the company expects modest price movement in some categories. An executive said to investors just Tuesday. I talked about that earlier on today, and I said that Home Depot is just giving us a inside look as to what we are likely to see in the very near future. They know they have to raise prices. Their sales were up, okay? Their sales were actually up. And what's interesting about this is less people are going in. You know why? Less people are going in because they can't afford to renovate their home. What does Home Depot sell? DIY stuff. Paint. Tools. Right? Raw material. Yeah, that's what they're selling. Oh, and you think people are going in to buy a refrigerator and a washer and dryer at Home Depot? No. Most people, okay, all the ones that I've talked to, they would rather buy from Costco, because Costco, if for some reason they lose their job recently, they can take that item back. Full refund. Home Depot, well, not so much. So here's why I'm showing you this. It says what to watch. The auto industry could be next. New vehicle prices have been mostly flat as automakers have eaten the cost of tariffs. That won't last long. According to the former GM executive, he says he annualized June's 2025 tariff data to conclude that tariffs are on track to cost automakers $2,200 per vehicle this year. Says they can't support $2,200 per vehicle. That's impossible to sustain. Instead, he says automakers will quietly pass on the higher costs by raising sticker prices on 2026 models, hitting showrooms after the next month or two. This is just with cars. But the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention is because of this right here. Okay? 1 in 3 businesses say they plan to raise prices. Just be prepared, because it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, where you live, or your financial status. You will be paying more.